It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you for being here. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. And happy Wednesday. And with that being said, tomorrow is Thursday, which means Singer-Songwriter Night is in Sylvan Lake. And if you love live music, Sylvan Lake has something you won't want to miss. Every Thursday night, Guma hosts its Singer-Songwriter series, a cozy, intimate night featuring talented local artists, and our very own Civic Center TV reporter, Jake Schaff, has the story.
Music is one of the true universal languages, and just recently, Guma Italian Restaurant in Sylvan Lake has been welcoming in so much music thanks to their Thursday Open Mic Night series, a chance for local singer-songwriters to stop by the restaurant, showcase their talent, and the chance to leave a valuable impression on the community with their music.
It definitely has been a work in progress since we opened a year and a half ago. We've been wanting to do this. We are very fortunate to have a connection to Billy, who knows the owner, and he's the one that kind of worked with Brad, the owner, to put this together for us. So far, we've had some really beautiful artists come in, and we're really excited to see what comes in the next few weeks. Since we've opened, we've had the stage here, and people have asked us, like, oh, do you do live music? And it was always, not yet, we want to in the future, this, that, the other. And as soon as we launched it the very first night, we had a full house. So it really made the community excited. It makes us excited. It's been a really good turnout.
It is wonderful. The staff is wonderful, and there's always great fans and people, and I just love singing and bringing joy to people and while they're eating dinner and enjoying their evening.
How do you feel that this is going to help not just yourself, but just the entire music scene here in West Bloomfield?
Just performing and a place opening up their doors to live music always brings new fans and attention to not only the restaurant but to live music. And live music adds a great aspect and atmosphere overall to restaurants and bar scenes and all that kind of thing.
How do you think that these open mic nights help the atmosphere of Guma?
I think it just adds a little bit to it. Just makes it a little more exciting than just having dinner, and then I think that we'll pull more people in, so I think it's fun for everybody. Hopefully it'll just keep catching on, and we're promoting it on social media, so hopefully it'll just keep going and going.
We have a big regular base, and we want to be able to bring those regulars all together. It's certain nights where everybody comes in at the same time and everybody knows each other, so adding the live music really gives them an opportunity to know, like, if they're going to come here for the live music, they're going to see familiar faces and be able to talk to their neighbors and friends that they haven't seen and just get together and enjoy the atmosphere and the music.
There have been so many pleasant sounds to come from this restaurant as of late, and there's going to be plenty more as this event continues to get popular. And the joy of music continues to be spread all throughout Greater West Bloomfield. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Thank you again for that story, Jake. And the next show will be this upcoming Thursday per usual. Doors open up at 4 p.m. and the music starts at 6. If you want to check it out yourself, head to Guma Italian Restaurant on Orchard Lake Road in Sylvan Lake. Just visit them on Facebook at Guma Italian. That's Guma, Goomah, Italian, for more information. The West Bloomfield Police Department is teaming up with nearby agencies to offer local teens a unique summer opportunity. The Regional Youth Police Academy runs June 16th through the 19th at the West Bloomfield Township Training Center. This free hands-on program is open to high school students aged 14 to 18 who live, attend school, or even have family ties right here in West Bloomfield, Auburn Hills, Rochester, Birmingham, or Bloomfield Township. Participants will explore police tactics, criminal law, investigation, firearms safety, and even earn CPR certification. Now that's walking away with something. Lunch and t-shirts will also be provided. but space is limited. So make sure you reach out to them for more information. The West Bloomfield Police Department on Facebook, West Bloomfield Police, for more information. West Bloomfield's Temple Cole Ami is presenting a night of comedy during times of tension and tough moments. Seriously funny, how Israelis laugh to keep from crying. Features Israeli-American comedian and educator Benji Lovett. Now Benji, along with Temple Cole Ami's Rabbi Natalie Shrittman, actually spoke to us about the importance of this event for the entire Greater West Bloomfield community. Rabbi Natalie Shrittman and comedian actor Benji Lovett. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
First and foremost, I appreciate it. I want to start with you, Rabbi, if you don't mind. Just give us the details of the event for people who are just joining us, the where, when also.
Yes, the event is on May 17th at 7 p.m. at Temple Cole Ami in our building. It's
Perfect. So there's something that we're looking forward to in May. Now, can you just break down why it is important to feel joy and to laugh right now in the Jewish world?
Yes, right now we've been experiencing many challenging moments as a people and as individuals. And with each successive incident, there are many intense emotions building up inside of us. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have these emotions that we can't really share for fear of repercussions based on who we're sharing those emotions with. Mm. When we laugh, we're able to open ourselves to whatever we may be feeling and allow these emotions to escape. This is good for our overall health, our community to be laughing together collectively, and good for us as a people.
I would have to agree with that as well. So looking at it from a different perspective, Benji, the comedian, I want to speak from your perspective. How is laughter used in Judaism?
Well, I wouldn't say Judaism, the religion, so much as the Jewish people. Mm-hmm. And throughout our history, we say that we have laughed to keep from crying. And I have to say, it's very important for me to say to people who maybe haven't been to Israel before, I'm in Tel Aviv right now, and there's a war going on, and war is awful. And someone might say, how can you possibly laugh about anything right now? And the best way I explain it to Americans is that if I told you 5 years ago that we would go through a global pandemic and 1 million Americans would die, you would say, how could we ever laugh again? Right. Yeah, we watch Saturday Night Live with jokes about social distancing and masking and senior citizens not knowing how to use Zoom. So we don't laugh at the suffering, we laugh at what we're going through, because if we didn't, we would lose our minds. So I think it's a universal human tendency, but I can say as a Jew that we laugh because it's better than crying.
And that's a good point. And I'm glad you brought up, just like for an example, back in the pandemic and things of that nature, when everything was so different for everybody being in the house and doing things online. So from your perspective, what role does a live in-person performance play in healing or even uplifting the community compared to like online comedy?
Well, you're not going to find a comedian who prefers an online show. And I think if not for COVID, it wouldn't even exist. But comedy's complicated. I don't think most people understand that it's not just an art, it's a science. There's a lot that goes on there. And, there's the jokes the comedian says, but it's really about the relationship between the comedian and the audience. And it's the only art form, really, that depends on the reaction of the audience. You can have a band playing, and it can be background music. If people don't cheer, it doesn't mean they didn't enjoy it. But when you can have that connection and something happens live, unexpected in the audience, and the comedian makes them laugh, magic happens. Yeah. And so many times I've had people tell me, thank you for making me laugh. Thank you for reminding me why it's okay to have fun. A live comedy show, there's nothing like it.
I know, right? As someone who loves comedy itself, specifically even live comedy, I completely understand the reaction time is different, the engagement is different, and it just hits a lot different as well. With us right here live on The Splash, by the way, Temple Cole Ami's Rabbi Natalie Shrittman and comedian actor Benji Lovett talking about the upcoming spring fundraiser that features Israeli-American comedian and educator Benji Lovett. Just talking about the event and laughter in general and why it's important. So going to you, Rabbi, I want to just find out, how do you feel laughter fits into this time of year for the Jewish calendar, I should say, specifically?
Right. So the Jewish people just celebrated Passover. It's our collective liberation holiday. And now we are counting our days toward the next holiday of Shavuot, when we receive the Torah. And in between those two holidays, it's a time of wilderness, uncertainty, and we don't know what the future is going to hold. And so when we laugh, we can give ourselves like sustainment and feel ready for the journey ahead. And when we count the days between Passover and Shavuot, we're counting the Omer. This was once a time of mourning, and when Benji Levitt comes to town, it's actually the weekend of Lag BaOmer, when the mourning can be broken for one day and joyous occasions can occur of laughter. So how serendipitous it is to have a comedian who will help us laugh and get in touch with our emotions more clearly for the next couple of weeks of the Omer until Shavuot.
I love that. Makes sense. It's all in divine order. It's supposed to be what it is, and I love to hear that. So continuing on with you, Rabbi, I just want to know, Greater West Bloomfield, we actually pride ourselves on volunteerism and charity. So how do you hope this fundraiser deepens the temple's partnership with local civic groups and families as well?
I think, as Benji was saying earlier, he lives in Israel and he's experiencing all these somewhat terrible events. And us, removed from Israel, we're just reading about it in the media. And so it's much different to hear about it from the person who's living in these events that are being described. Our tradition teaches us that we are more powerful when we're together. And at times of global uncertainty in our country, in our town, in our own Judaism, we need to be together for whatever reason so we can strengthen our community, our unity as a single community.
Very inspiring and very good to hear as well. Don't want to hold you two up too much longer. Just want to ask you a few more questions before we let you go. And this question I want both of you to answer, starting with you, Benji. What message or messages of hope and unity do you anticipate resonating most strongly with the diverse Greater West Bloomfield audience?
I guess I would say it's okay to laugh. And I've lived abroad outside the States for 18 years now. And, I'm still American in many ways. I'm Israeli in many ways. But the Israeli in me realizes that sometimes we're Americans, we're not so great at understanding when we can laugh. And I feel like comedians are often misunderstood. We say, you can't say that, you can't say that, that's offensive. Comedians are really usually not trying to offend. We're usually trying to cheer you up and have a good time. And, I just want to say life is hard. After 9/11, somehow we moved on, and after Corona. And, I don't want to minimize any of the horrible stuff going on here or in the States, but, it is human to cry. It is equally human to laugh. And if we can't do that, then how are we going to have the strength to even keep fighting the good fight? So it's okay to laugh, and it just should remind us that we got to keep going.
I love that response, too. And you too, Rabbi?
So I think that when we're all together, hope can manifest more easily because we have the support of each other to lean on in difficult times. When I've heard about how people are responding to this difficult time in Israel, there's been lots of laughter, memorializing, and remembering. And there can be a lot of creativity in how we do that. And that also can inspire hope. We've seen Israel still continuing on. It hasn't stopped them, this war, and it's made us feel like we are stagnant, and we are still able to continue fighting and giving something to the world. And so for the purpose is for us to gather together, to laugh, and even more so just to be together, to hope we can find opportunities in addition to this to be together and to visit with each other as well.
Perfect. And lastly, just to ask you, continuing on with you, Rabbi, how do you think we continue to use humor and these shared cultural experiences to nurture understanding and resilience across our community?
I think humor teaches us a lot about the place that we're living in and the place that the people who we are with. Once we have found a chance to laugh together, to share that emotion, it's perhaps as if we can understand each other as well. Same
question to you, Benji?
Comedy's magic, I've lived in 2 democratic countries before, and one of the great things about living in a democracy is comedians can make fun of anything, and you can say anything, and if we can laugh together, we can live together. I don't know who said it, but it's hard to hate someone when they're making you laugh. And we can get upset and angry about debate and dialogue, but if we can just laugh, it reminds us that not to take so many things so seriously. There's a lot to take seriously, but we have to also know how to be happy in life, otherwise we will lose our minds.
100% agree with that. And Benji, before we let you go, the details, who, where, when, and why people can see you coming to Greater West Bloomfield in May.
That's going to be May 17th, I believe, at Call on Me. I don't have the time because I'm 7 hours ahead of you guys, but Rabbi, did I get that right?
Yes, 7 p.m.
Saturday night. Awesome. See you there.
Perfect. Once again, thank you both for joining us. We appreciate your time, and thank you so much for bringing laughter to our community during a time it is definitely needed. Once again, from Temple Call on Me, Rabbi Natalie Shribman, and comedian, actor Benji Lovett. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For tickets and more information on Seriously Funny, how Israelis laugh to keep from crying, go to Temple Kol Ami's website at tkolami.org. That's the letter T, KOLAMI.org. Dr. Henry Mackey devoted his career to serving others, beginning as an obstetrician and later as a hospice physician, while also dedicating over 2 decades of his life to humanitarian missions in Zambia. Dr. Mackey will be honored at the 2025 Michigan Community Awards Breakfast, Michigan Week Community Awards Week Breakfast, excuse me. We actually spoke to his son, Rick Mackey, and his wife, Marlon Mackey, to tell us what this acknowledgement means to Dr. Henry Mackey. Dr. Henry Mackey's son and wife, Rick and Marlene Mackey. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
We appreciate that. So I definitely want to dive a little bit more into Dr. Henry's life a little bit more. Starting with you, Marlene, Mrs. Mackey, if you don't mind, just tell us what inspired Henry to begin his humanitarian work in Zambia.
Actually, he went on several other missions around that time, around 2001. He went to Guatemala and the Dominican Republic and Zambia. And he realized that he couldn't continue to go to all of those. He chose Zambia because, number one, it was a Christian nation, but also because the people there were so poor and they had just gone through a terrible HIV epidemic and many, many people were orphaned.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he's well-traveled and like you said, has done a lot of great work internationally, and we love to hear that. Moving to you, Rick, from your knowledge, what are some of the roles that Dr. Henry has taken on during his medical missions in Africa and other places?
Yeah, no, as Mom said, I mean, he chose Zambia because of the intense need. And initially, the group would go out and they would run these medical clinics. They'd go out into the bush and they'd set up basically a medical MASH camp. And they'd have hundreds of patients come from miles around, and they'd serve their needs, really checking in on their health, doing wound care, testing for HIV, for pregnancy, for TB, for malaria. His roles there were initially just as a physician, but that only lasted about 1 year, and then he became the medical director. And there's a lot that goes into planning those missions to understand exactly, what medications you might need, how to set up the clinic where you're literally seeing, 500 to 600 patients in a day that you haven't seen before. So how do you, how do you triage them? How do you send them to the right doctors? How do you provide the right medications? So kind of organizing it, but then really being there on the ground and interfacing with them directly to serve their needs and understand what health and emotional and family issues that they have.
Sounds like passion as well. Love to see that as well. And not too many people have the ability to fly over to another country, continent, and help those in need. But with him having the resources and the ability to do so and actually doing it just speaks volumes as well. Continuing with you, Mr. Mackey, how has Henry, your father, contributed to disease prevention and treatment during the Orphan Medical Network International's trips overseas?
Yeah, so the Orphan Medical International, they've gone, for about 25, 30 years now, they've gone on numerous missions. They have these medical clinics that they run. They've also been able to establish a school, so they now have a school with over 350 students that attend the school. But really, if you think about disease prevention and treatment, part of it was bringing the medical care into the communities that didn't have medical care, bringing the medications, the equipment. As part of that, they also were very instrumental in education, so helping the local communities understand what causes some of these diseases and how to prevent the diseases. In some cases, they'd go into communities and there was no fresh water, and that was a major source of disease. So they would raise funds and they'd create a well for them to have water and sanitation.
Nice.
They'd create education programs. So it's been pretty immense in terms of the impact he's had. They've also been able to, from their missions, the Zambia government has now implemented a process where they have medical professionals that are in the local communities to continue the care even when the mission trips are not there. So a lasting impact.
Yeah, and it's not, I love that you explain that too, because it's not just about going there and giving them initial care. That care needs to be maintained. It needs to be sustainable. So to make sure that there's resources available there as well, just continuously speaks to the work that's going on out there. With me right here on the Splash Live, by the way, Dr. Henry Mackey, a local humanitarian being recognized at the Michigan Week Awards breakfast. We have his son, Rick Mackey, and his wife, Marlene Mackey, talking about his career, his overall experience, and the work that he's doing internationally as well. Moving to you, Marlene, according to you and some of the people that Dr. Henry Mackey has worked with, what qualities do you believe make him a true humanitarian?
Well, he's definitely the most caring and compassionate person you would ever want to meet. He also listens to his patients and listens to his heart. He's a very spiritual man, but he does more than that. If there's a problem, he works on a solution and he does something about it. He doesn't just say, well, there's a problem. He puts things into action.
Well, love to hear that. And how would you say his work in other places, in other countries and continents exemplified a lifelong commitment to serving others?
Well, as with his patients, he is dedicated to service. And quite interestingly enough, his motto is blessed to be a blessing. And the Rotary motto is service above self, and that's exemplifying him totally. So with his patients, from the OB patients, for example, he noticed that there were some problems about birth. And a long time ago, all of a sudden there was an article in the newspaper that said fathers were going to be allowed in the delivery room. Well, this caused a lot of consternation amongst the doctors themselves. So he started investigating that and discovered that there were some things called birth centers, one in California, one in New York. So he went and looked at those. And from that, then he created a birthing center right here at Providence Hospital in Southfield. And he was able to then provide home births, but not at home, in a safe environment next to the hospital where they could have natural childbirth in a safe situation.
Great. Making a difference, like we said, locally and internationally. Great to see that, and it's a good thing that we are giving him the acknowledgement that he deserves right here in his local home as well. Now, Rick, going to you, you've been a part of Dr. Mackey's life and been a part of some of these missions from what I'm seeing. What have you witnessed from being a part of these missions alongside your father?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a great experience. I've had a chance to go on a few of the missions with him. Setting up these, number one, when you arrive in Zambia at the school that Omni's created, the Omni George School, we have it set up that every member of the team shakes hands with every one of the students. and you really get a chance to understand and see firsthand the lives that you're impacting of these 350 students. And then as you go out into the bush and we set up these medical mission tents, I mean, you literally get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, you set up a medical facility, set up all the processes, and you're seeing, 300 to 500 patients a day with just 2 or 3 docs. But what I saw the most was, my dad's enormous caring about the people, and not just from a health perspective, like what are their medical needs, but really what are their emotional, spiritual needs. So oftentimes in these settings, it's not just taking care of their medical needs, it's really learning about their family life, identifying families where there's maybe domestic violence, providing opportunities for them to get out of that situation, finding families that don't have enough money or food to feed their family, providing the food for them. So it really was much, much more beyond just being kind of, providing medical care. It was really a complete care, really about caring about the people themselves and what do they need.
That sets a great example too, obviously for people around them, but for people like yourself, his own kids, and that continues to pass on good traits and characteristics from generation to generation as well. So I want to applaud him and applaud you for actually being there too, because you could have been anywhere, done anything, but you decided to go along on that mission. So that's well said, well done. With me right here on the Splash Live, by the way, we have the family members of Dr. Henry Mackey, who will be honored at the Michigan Week Awards breakfast. We have his wife, Mrs. Mackey, and we also have his son, Rick Mackey, as well. Now, Mrs. Mackey, just asking you very, very briefly, I want to see from your experience and from what you know, how does Henry's work align with the values and mission of the Michigan Week celebration?
Well, he knows that he's just one of many people in our community that serve others, and he's very happy to be a part of that. And I think that even though he's a great example himself, he doesn't see that as being an example. He's happy to work with and alongside of other people who do service for others and make life better for different people. So he's happy to work day and night and long weekends and so on to make that happen.
Well said, well said. And lastly, with you, Rick, if you could speak for your father, how would you say it feels for him to be honored during this year's Michigan Week celebration right here in West Bloomfield?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the things that he did, he never did them to be honored. That was not the goal. It was really to serve the people. I think he feels very blessed to have been pulled into a number of different organizations where he can bring his, unique talents and skills and spiritual, blessings that he has. And really, you feel very fortunate that he's had those opportunities to serve others and to work alongside great teams who are also very passionate, caring people who have really made a difference in the world. And I think he would say, look, he would really look to inspire others that you can make a difference and get involved, find something you're passionate about and get involved in that, because you can have a significant impact on people's lives locally and globally. And I think that really he's probably most honored to be helping to and hopefully inspire others to take up the service call.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to being there and seeing him and meeting him in person and just being inspired by his message as well. I want to thank both of you again for your time and for sharing that information, and congratulations to you and your family for the success. Once again, family members for Dr. Henry Mackey, who will be acknowledged at the Michigan Week Awards breakfast this week, we have Rick Mackey and Marlon Mackey. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you so much for having us.
Congratulations again to Dr. Henry Mackey and his family as well. And this year, you can actually find out more about this year's Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast directly on the website. Go to michiganweek.org for more information. And we have more information regarding people in our community that are doing great things to make an impact for local residents and others. We'll talk about that coming up. We're live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. bringing you stories and memories from West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
It's that time of year again. Gather around to honor our community's volunteers at the 53rd Annual Michigan Week Awards. Watch as these local stars are honored for their leadership, dedication, and passion in their community. For more information or to register, go to michiganweek.org. Catch the live broadcast May 9th
On civiccentertv.com or on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Thank you for being here. Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter recently announced this year's Oakland Together 40 Under 40, a diverse and passionate group of individuals making a positive change throughout Oakland County. West Bloomfield's Nate Fink of Fink Bressack was one of the nominees, and he actually took some time to speak with us here at Civic Center TV about his reaction and what the acknowledgement means to him personally. Nate Fink of Fink Bressack. Thank you for being here, Nate.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. Is it Fink Bressack? Did I say that right? I want to make sure I say that right.
That's right. No,
Okay,
you got it right.
Look at me, landing in first try. All right, well, let me just start off by saying congratulations on your nomination. Big congratulations there. How did you find out about being named Oakland County's 40 Under 40?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Mm-hmm.
I found out about it. I got a note from the county executive's assistant, and then was told they were going to be broadcasting the announcement on Facebook the next day.
Yeah.
And was very excited to hear about it. It's a great honor.
Yes, it is. I would imagine, man. I'm so happy for you. I feel like we're family, and I feel like I feel like I'm celebrating with you, man. This is just one of those things that I know a lot of people have on their bucket list to achieve. Now, what do you believe personally contributed most to this recognition at this point in your career?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and it really is a great honor.
Yeah.
I appreciate the county executive and the committee providing me this award. My roots are deep in Oakland County, particularly West Bloomfield. I was born and raised in West Bloomfield. I went to Andover High School, or formerly known as Andover High School. I now have 4 kids who live in West Bloomfield with me and my wife, and go to Bloomfield schools in West Bloomfield, and we still live here. And I've cared a lot about the community since I was a kid. I've gone on to become an attorney and have been very passionate about advocating on behalf of people who are perhaps in need and unable to get the legal representation that they might otherwise get. Good. We do a lot of different types of work, including class action work. We do municipal work. I've currently the representation just concluded, but we represented the new Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission.
Okay.
And did a lot of work related to protecting and defending their work. And I just care a lot about the community, and I think that the committee and the county executive saw that.
Nice, man. So I would imagine that you saw some of the other nominees as well as I did. Now, when you look at that list of other people in our Oakland County community who were nominated, how does it feel to be honored alongside such a dynamic and diverse group of leaders across the county?
Yeah, it's humbling. I mean, it's just an outstanding group. I think we're going to have an opportunity to get together. I believe next month, and it'll be great to meet these folks. I know a couple of them, but most of them I've never met. But just seeing this list, it's just incredible, and we're so lucky to live in this community with so many wonderful, just outstanding leaders. Across, as you had indicated, just a diverse group, just a wide spectrum, different, ethnic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, but also just different professional pursuits. It's really just, like I said, it's humbling to be just included within that group.
And with me right here live on The Splash, by the way, Oakland County 40 Under 40 nominee Nate Fink from Fink Bressac, just talking about his nomination and his experiences and growing up right here in our Greater West Bloomfield area. Now, I just want to ask you, different people were nominated for different reasons. There are different experiences and things like that. But what values or experiences have shaped your leadership style and approach to community engagement?
Sure. So, like I said, I grew up in West Bloomfield, and I come from a sort of political family. My father, David, had actually ran for Congress quite a few years ago now, 2002, in our community, and I've had very deep interest in politics and community since I was very young. Going to political events, fundraisers, and the like. Doing knocking doors. I was a campaign manager for now Oakland County Clerk Lisa Brown, but when she ran for state rep back in 2006, and have been very engaged in politics. I was involved in class president back at Andover High School. Now 20 years ago, we just had our 20-year reunion.
Congratulations.
I was also involved in college. I went to University of Michigan for undergrad, and have just learned through all of that experience how important it is to try to always stay engaged with your community and give back as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that being said, I want to kind of dive into that a little bit more. I want to speak on the fact that we do a lot of celebrating and highlighting local athletes, went to West Bloomfield High School, go on to the next level and go on to the professional level, being drafted. We just talked about a few of them then. But I also want to consider yourself another hometown hero, someone born in, or not necessarily born, but raised right here in West Bloomfield and give back and now being recognized. So I want to consider you a hometown hero. And with that being said, a lot of the work that you've done, what are some initiatives or products that you're most proud of being part of?
I appreciate that. I don't. As you noted, we've had some wonderful athletes that have come out of the community. I'm certainly not one of them, but I think I'm most proud of the fact that you indicated I wasn't born. I was here. I was born in Royal Oak at Beaumont, and then but literally moved to West Bloomfield probably when I was 3 or 4 days old, and have lived here. Except for when I went to Michigan for undergrad in Ann Arbor, I've lived here my whole life, so it's just been a wonderful place to live. And in terms of the things that I'm most proud of, I think it's that I'm still here in this community. We have our family that, like I said, my wife and 4 children. We live in West Bloomfield, and we love the community. And I think I'm most proud that we've been able to establish these deep roots for all of our for my family to continue to hopefully prosper here. In terms of some of the sort of professional success, as I indicated, I represent the Redistricting Commission, which is very proud to do that. We also represented the city of Detroit in a lot of election-related litigation, primarily that came out of the 2020 election, where there were some forces that were challenging the legitimacy of the election, and we very proudly represented the city of Detroit to fight off a lot of those challenges. And I think we're probably perhaps some of the most successful in that litigation. I was just very proud to be a part of that.
Good work, man. Hey, I'm like I said before, man. I'm so proud of you myself to just be recognized. This as someone who aspires to get this type of recognition myself, and others. I'm very, very excited for that. And with that being said, just landing your plane here. What advice would you offer to other young professionals like myself and others in the community looking to make a meaningful impact in their communities?
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words. I think you should just always stay community focused and think about what you can do. Reflect on what your own skills, your talents are, and think about how you can continue to give back and serve your community, investing in yourself, but also investing in the community, and always keeping a broader, bigger picture perspective on life.
Love that. Well said. Thank you so much again, sir. And with us right here live again, we want to thank you for being with us. Oakland County 40 Under 40 nominee, Nate Fink from Fink Bressac. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations to Nate and all the other nominees of the 2025 Oakland Together 40 Under 40 class. Well-deserved recognition for the work they have done in and around the community. We'll continuously keep you updated with more on the Oakland Together 40 Under 40, as well as the nominees as well. If you need an excuse to get outside, we're looking at temperatures in the 60s to 70s with plenty of sunshine throughout the next couple of days. And the Apple Island Tour is an annual event by the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society that includes outdoor exhibits, bus and boat transportation, and so much more. A good reason for you to get outside in our local community. Anna Smith, Museum and Communications Assistant at the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, spoke with Civic Center TV to tell us about the tour and its history. Museum and Communications Assistant from the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, Anna Smith. Thank you for being here, Anna.
Good morning, Kevin.
I'm doing just great having you here. Happy to have you here first and foremost. Now, for the people who may have never been to or possibly never heard of Apple Island, can you give the brief history behind Apple Island and why it has such significance here in West Bloomfield?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good place to start. So if we take it back to the very beginning, the island was formed probably 10 to 12,000 years ago during the last glacial period in Michigan. It's actually very unique to have an island as big as Apple Island in a lake the size of Orchard Lake. So it's about 35 to 37 acres, which is a rather large island for a lake, and it is a special place. We have evidence suggesting that humans have either lived on or visited Apple Island for at least 2,000 years. Yes, it has great cultural and spiritual significance to Native peoples. It has for a long time, and even continuing onward after the Treaty of 1807, when the government purchased land around here, the island continued to go through many hands of ownership, and there have been many families who spent time on the island back after settlers came to the area. And even then, the stories and the sort of importance of the island and the romanticism around the islands and stories they continue on, and even into the present now we continue to learn and share the stories and history of the island during Apple Island tours. It's a great, unique experience that we get to bring to the community.
Woo! Seems like that's a lot that's going on and has happened right there in that island. Man, that 2,000 plus years, 10,000, wow, okay, that's a lot. So that means it's a lot to break down, it's a lot to experience. So you just explain what people can expect from this year's tours. Are there anything new stories, exhibits, elements?
Yeah, absolutely. That's also a great question. I'm kind of excited to share with everyone that we're sort of in the process of going through the information that we share with the community, and we're always looking at it every year and trying to improve it and add new information that we can share with guests. So even if you came to the tours last year in 2024, it was our first time holding them since 2019. It was sort of a test run with all of the new changes that have come in this area and to the program. But even if you came last year, you can expect something new and different and exciting for this year.
Good. Because I was asking that question for the people who are familiar. Talking about people who may not be, but for the people who may have visited, they're like, okay, I've seen it. What more can you add to it? How can it be a little bit more interesting? And with the new elements, new features, and exhibits, I love to hear that. This is keeping people interest going, because there has to be so much history there to uncover, going back, like you said, hundreds, thousands of years. It is definitely a lot to share and talk about. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, from the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society Museum and Communications Assistant, Anna Smith, talking about the upcoming Apple Island tour. So just kind of continuously going into that, we're dealing with woods and trees, and there's a lot of elements that's going on here, but how are you ensuring that the tour is both educational and engaging, but also safe for a wide audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So we stick to a drawn out and planned path. The school district does a great job maintaining the trails on the island, but we do ask people, and we'll make sure to put this out to everyone who's interested in coming, but make sure you are bringing your bug spray. Our docents and volunteers will also have bug spray for you. We have plans in place in case the mosquitoes on the island are particularly bad this year, which it feels like last year we had a lot of guests saying that the mosquitoes weren't bad. So we're going to hope that trend continues, but make sure you wear your bug spray.
Yes.
The thing about an island on a lake is it's about 10 degrees colder than the mainland. So even though we're in the middle of June, you might want to put on a few layers that you can either take off or wear just in case it gets a little chilly for you out there. And we also ask that you wear closed-toed, good walking shoes. It is like you're taking a hike out there, even if you are on a trail. So that's definitely going to be important to keep people safe. And last and probably most important is try not to stray from the trail. There is poison ivy out there on the island, and we don't want anyone coming back with that. Yeah, it would not be a great experience to cap off your tour.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you explained that all. To me, I'm gonna be honest, it just tells me wear long sleeves, pants, and boots, just to kind of cover all those bases right there. But what you just said made me think of something else. Any animals, insects, unique animals or insects, or just general, on this island that we could expect to see?
Yeah, to be honest, you never really know what you might see. There's some great nature out there. There are over 400 plant species on the island alone, and it represents all of Michigan's 4 biomes in one place. So really, you could get a lot of anything, but we get a lot of exciting stories. I actually got a call at the museum a few months ago back when the lake was still frozen over from a mother and her child who saw something out on the lake near the island, and they were trying to figure out what it was. And you know, if you're not there, it's hard to tell, but we've seen coyotes, we've seen foxes out near the island. Last year, one of our volunteers actually saw a deer on the island, which is really cool because that means the deer took the time and actually swam out to the island. Yeah, that's right. So it's exciting. And there's a lot of great features on the island itself. One that we always highlight on the tour is some of the trees that are out on the island. I mean, we have a 250, 300-year-old maple tree, and she's lovingly referred to as Grandmother Maple. So there you go. There's great things to see out there for sure. The nature is one of the big draws of the island. It's very, it feels like nowadays there are less and less places where you truly feel like you're sort of isolated and experiencing nature as it was meant to be. So Apple Island is definitely the place to do that.
And I can tell you really appreciate that too, with that being said, Anna. And I just recently got to experience something similar to that. I want to thank Carol Fink also, who just recently took me out to the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary, took a tour for the first time. We talked about Apple Island as well, but we got to connect. And she's one that really appreciates nature as well and soaks it in. So I love being with you all who are very knowledgeable, who loves the island, who loves the nature sanctuary, and are here to preserve it and also share that knowledge with others. So I appreciate that. One thing that we didn't talk about before I let you go, I want you to also explain the who, what, where, when, and why of the Apple Island tours, the dates and things of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. So this year, the tours are going to be held the second weekend in June. That's going to be June 14th and 15th. We're going to start the tours around 10 a.m. and you can be out on the island till 5 p.m. So realistically, whenever you go out, you can stay. You just got to be on the last boat back. So that's the nice thing about the tours, is that it's a completely individual experience. We have our very talented and knowledgeable docents and volunteers and presenters out on the island who are there to give you all of the information that you need. But ultimately, it's up to you how much time you want to spend out on the island. And of course, we have the Orchard Lake Museum open here as well. There will be tons of activities. We'll have snacks for sale. We'll have games. The museum will be open, so you can come in, check out our exhibits. Yep. So really, there's just a ton to do. It's like a whole day of fun. And, you know, you can bring the entire family, take a tour, and then spend time at the museum.
That is so cool. I would love to come visit Anna, but once you said coyotes and foxes, I don't know about that. We had to talk about that. Think about a plan behind it, but I'm pretty sure it's safe. I'm just being funny right now. But thank you so much again for your time, and thank you for going out there and doing this. Once again, from the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, Museum and Communications Assistant, Anna Smith. Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Yes, and there is still an opportunity for you to join the tour this season as well. You can find out how directly on the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society's Facebook page at GWBHS, or go directly to their website, gwbhs.org. So much more to talk about that is affecting our daily lives in our community. We'll discuss that coming up. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Established in 1973, Plantera was one of the first interior landscaping companies in North America. We will continuously keep you updated on Plantera and the different things Plantera has done in Greater West Bloomfield as well. But starting next week, Marshbank Park is turning into a place where a kid can be a kid. The Kids Commotion concerts return this summer with more entertainment for the entire family. We had a chance to speak with recreation programmer for WB Parks, Crystal Smith, to tell us more about the details of the event. Recreation programmer from WB Parks, Crystal Smith. How you doing, Crystal?
I'm doing very good. I'm excited for the warm weather we're getting and happy to be here.
I know, what a time to be outside. So Kids Commotion, let's start off with it general. Give out the information of who, what, where, when, and why of Kids Commotion.
Absolutely. Our dates are going to be Thursday, May 15th from 5 to 7, Thursday, June 12th from 10 to 12, and Thursday, August 21st from 10 to 12. For the May concert, you can expect some live music from Leonardo Entertainment from 5 to 6, and some special fairy tale characters from 6 to 7. And same with the timeline for June and August, live entertainment from 10 to 11, and fairy tale character visits from 11 to 12.
Sounds very exciting. Sounds very entertaining as well, and a lot to look forward to. So, with that being said, how does this year's lineup of entertainers and performers compare to last year or previous years?
Well, last year and previous years, we had several great bands come and entertain the children. This year, we're expecting Leonardo music, Rick and Dana's Playground, and the Steve and Trish Duo. They're all very talented children's performers who I know will engage the crowd during their 1 hour musical performance and get everybody dancing and grooving and enjoying that summer music and festivities with their families. So they're going to be a really great bunch to have come out this summer and perform for us.
Nice that you adding that uniqueness of the performance and the entertainment that we're all expecting to have some fun and enjoy as well. Now, I'm gonna say this. From what I'm getting about Kids Commotion, I haven't been there yet, but I'm seeing it as just like basically a concert for kids. Can you explain what makes Kids Commotion a standout event for West Bloomfield?
Absolutely. So not only do we have the 1 hour concert with live music, but we'll also finish the last hour with visits from some superheroes and some really favorite Disney characters coming to the park to take photos and interact with the children. We also have a variety of free inflatables that kids can jump in and go down the inflatable slides. The socks are required and they will be available for purchase for $1 inside our lodge building with the Optimist Club. We're also really excited to be partnering with the West Bloomfield Township Public Library for this concert. Well, for all three concerts, actually. And families can expect a cool take-home craft or activity to engage in during the concert. So for those little ones that don't have the attention span to watch the concert the whole time, they can go jump their sillies out on the inflatables and engage with the library craft, get some ice cream from the Optimist Club, and play at the playground as well. So we have a lot of activity to do for them, and later on in the June and August months, we'll look forward to some nature activities as well from our naturalists here.
Okay, get them outside, out the house, away from those video games. No, I love that though, and I love that, like you said, you are also partnering with local organizations as well. We love to highlight that right here on Civic Center TV. And with me right here live on the Splash, by the way, from WB Parks Recreation Programmer Crystal Smith, talking about the upcoming Kids Commotion concert, a place where a kid can be a kid and just go wild.
Right.
So how has the community responded to the concert series in the previous years?
In the previous years, we've always had such positive feedback from families. The kids really love it. It's something to get out and do, when school's out and summer's kicking off. It's a really great event to just enjoy some music, get your wiggles out, have a quick hot dog or hamburger with the Optimist Club, and just really be a part of the community. A lot of positive feedback from these events because they are free to the community, which is lovely. So it's an easy thing to do. It's 2 hours. You don't have to purchase from the Optimist Club. You can always bring snacks if you wish, but they are there with that tasty ice cream and cool waters to cool you off. So we encourage you to participate with us this summer and enjoy them really fun musicians. They come in all colors and band instruments, and we're looking forward to some fun music this summer.
Oh yeah, that'll keep their attention right there. And you said one of my favorite F words, free. That will definitely get me and anybody else out the house, if you ask me. So don't want to hold you up too much longer. Couple questions. One, what do you want families and children to take away from participating in this event?
I just want them to take home some fun memories, some fun photos with our superheroes and Disney characters.
There you go.
Enjoy bouncing in those inflatables and going down the slides at the park. We'll have our mascot Polly buzzing around to engage with the families as well. And he's really a great conversation starter for how to keep our parks pollinated and fresh with flowers and all the wonderful things that our nature team works so hard on in our parks and then just partnering with our West Bloomfield Township Library and the Optimist Club. There are two great partners that have assisted with this event for a number of years now, and so we're just happy to keep them on board, and there's always more information to gain from those two groups as well. So I think the families can take a lot from this free event,
Right.
from the joyful aspect to the educational aspect.
There we go. There we go. I would agree. And just real quick, if anyone wants to volunteer or maybe even sponsor the event, this event or future events, are there any opportunities for that, and how can they do so?
Absolutely. If anyone is interested in volunteering for any special one-day events or continuous events with even our Connect Senior Center, all of those can be found on the wbparks.org webpage under the About and the Volunteer tab. And there are sign-up links that'll give you more detailed information for each of those events listed. And then if anyone is interested in sponsorships, they can communicate with our marketing and coordinating manager. Megan Tahako will be happy to assist any interested sponsors.
Perfecto. Lastly, for anyone who just joined us, the who, what, where, when, and why of Kids Commotion this summer, please.
Absolutely. So our first concert kicks off May 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. We'll have live music from 5 to 6 and fairy tale character visits from 6 to 7. The inflatables will be open and ready for use throughout the whole 2-hour event. Next up is June 12th from 10 to 12, and then our final Kids Commotion will end on Thursday, August 21st from 10 to 12.
There it is. A lot of excitement and a place for you to take your kids as well. Thank you so much again. We appreciate your time. From WB Parks Recreation Programmer, Crystal Smith. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
A lot to look forward to from WB Parks this summer, and we'll continuously keep you updated with everything West Bloomfield Parks. But I've been your host, Kevin McIntosh. Thank you so much for joining us today. Per usual, we're live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.